This is Department of English, Government Postgraduate College, Atak for online classes. I am Muhammad Ali, lecturer in English. We are studying chapter number 1. Today we will discuss the text of the novel from page number 3. Let us study and analyze the text. And years later, when Colley was an alderman of the city of London and a baronet and various other things, he sent his son, also retired, to Brookfield. Meanings of difficult words. Later, it means afterward or soon after. The next word is alderman. Alderman means co-opted member of an English county or district or borough council next in status to the mayor or an elected member of a city council. Next word is baronet. Baronet means a member of the lowest hereditary or a family titled British order with the status or class of a commoner but able to use the prefix sir. Next word is various. Various means different. Next word is sent. Sent means to convey or to dispatch. So, in these lines, the novelist tells us about a character, about a student whose name was Colley, and Colley became a prominent figure and he became alderman of the city of London, and he obtained a rank, a status in London. He sent his son, and his son had also a radiate, and his son also joined Brookfield. Revision of difficult words. Later means afterwards. Alderman. Alderman means co-opted or nominated or appointed member of an English county or district or borough or region. Next in status or class to the mayor or an elected member of a city council, board or committee or ruling body. Baronet. Baronet means a member of the lowest hereditary or inherited or of family titled British order or rank with the status or class of a commoner but able to use the prefix sir. Various means different, diverse. Sent means to convey or dispatch. Let us discuss further sentences from the textbook. And Chips would say, Colley, your father was the first boy I ever punished when I came here 25 years ago. Ago means before or previously. In these lines are actually in direct speech, and these are the words spoken by Chips. So, Chips told Colley that his father was the first student who got punishment from Chips, and Mr. Chips told him that Mr. Chips joined this Brookfield school 25 years ago or before. At that time, the father of Colley also joined that school and he got punishment from Chips. He deserved it then, and you deserve it now. So this sentence is very interesting and funny because in this sentence, Chips told Collie in humorous manner, in funny way, that his father deserved punishment at that time, and now this Collie also deserves a punishment from Chips. How they all laughed when that student listened to the words of Chips. Both laughed and they expressed amusement. And how Sir Richard laughed when his son wrote home the story in next Sunday's letter. And there was a person whose name was Sir Richard. When his son sent him a letter and his son informed him about this funny comment or discussion, then Sir Richard also laughed when he read this information about Mr. Chips and Collie. Revision of difficult words. Ago means before, deserve means are to have or justify, be worthy of. Laugh means to express amusement. Wrote, it is second form of write, means put in writing, put pen to paper or note down. Let us discuss further sentences from the textbook. And again, years after that, many years after that, there was an even better joke. For another Collie had just arrived, son of the Collie who was a son of the first Collie. This information also very interesting. Joke means a funny story or comic story. Another means one more and additional or further. Arrived means reach, to come, to appear. So in these lines, the novelist tells us that another Collie had arrived in Brookfield School, and he was the grandson of first Collie, and he was a third generation of Collie family, and it is very interesting. Revision of difficult words. Joke means funny story. Another mean one more. Arrived mean reached or came or appeared. Let us discuss further sentences from the textbook. And Chips would say, punctuating his remarks with that little oomph that had by then become a habit with him. Collie, you are oomph, a splendid example of oomph, inherited traditions. These remarks are also interesting. Punctuating means using the marks, using inverted commas, for example. Remarks means comments or opinions. Become means turn into or happen to. Splendid means fine or grand. Inherited means of family or inborn, present at birth or hereditary. Traditions means customs or way of life. In these lines, Chips told that Collie, the third Collie, and he used punctuation while giving his remarks and opinions. And because Mr. Chips was then in his old age, so he used the sounds oomph. That was his habit, and he informed this Collie that this third Collie was a splendid, magnificent and wonderful example of inherited traditions, means that way of life or the customs of his family, because he was the third colleague from the same family. Revision of difficult words. Punctuating means using the marks, for example, inverted commas. Remarks means comments or opinions. Become means turn into or happen to. Splendid means fine or grand. Inherited means innate, inborn, or of family. Traditions mean customs or way of life. Let us discuss further sentences from the textbook. I remember your grandfather, he could never grasp the ablative absolute. Remember means to keep in mind, to memorize, to retain information. Grasp means to understand, to grab. Ablative absolute means a construction of noun and participle in Latin grammar. Means it is a form of a noun or adjective, and it is form of construction, ablative absolute, that gives rules how to make noun and participle. Mr. Chips informed this colleague that his grandfather was unable to understand Latin grammar and the rules of Latin grammar. A stupid fellow, stupid means brainless, dull minded, and Mr. Chips informed this third colleague that his grandfather was a dull boy, a foolish boy, a silly boy, and your father too, I remember him. And he further informed him in a funny way that the father of this third colleague was also dull boy, a foolish boy, unintelligent. He used to sit at that far desk by the wall. Mr. Chips informed this colleague that his father sat at a distance by the wall. It means his father was dull, because dull students and brainless students, they actually try to sit far back. They are back benches actually. So in this way, Mr. Chips, in a funny way, informed this third colleague that his father was dull boy and brainless. That's why he got punishment. He wasn't much better either. And Mr. Chips told this colleague that his father was not a better student, not a good student. But I do believe, my dear colleague, that you are the biggest fool of the lot. Roars of laughter. Then Mr. Chips informed this colleague that Mr. Chips had a belief that this third colleague was the most foolish student among his family members. He was the most foolish boy and dull boy in the class. When Mr. Coley he listened to the words of Mr. Chips, then in the whole class there were huge sounds of laughter and smile and amusement. Revision of difficult words. Remember me to keep in mind. Grasp mean to understand. Ablative absolute. It is a construction, making or building of a noun and participle. Participle means both verb and adjective in Latin grammar, giving time or circumstances, situation or condition. Participle, both verb and adjectives. For example, working women. So in this phrase, working is participle. Good breeding. So in this phrase, breeding is participle. Burnt toast. In this phrase, burnt is participle. It is the most common use of present and perfect participles in Latin. The ablatives of a participle in a noun or pronoun are used to form a substitute or replacement for a subordinate clause or sentence defining or describing identifying the circumstances or situation in which the action of the main verb occurs. When a participle and the noun that comes before it together forms an independent phrase, the structure is often called an absolute phrase. For example, God willing. More examples of absolute phrases are the weather being fine. So, the being, that is ablative absolute. We went out for a picnic. A construction in Latin in which a noun or pronoun is adjunct or addition, both in the ablative case, form together an adverbial phrase. Adverb means that functions as adverb, means that adds to the meaning of verb. Generally, the time, cause, or attendant or helping circumstance of an action. A construction not dependent upon any other part of the sentence, consisting of a noun and a participle. Noun and adjective are two nouns in which both members are in ablative case. For example, in Latin, via facta, the road having been made. So, this is example of ablative absolute. And father of Cole, he could not understand this ablative absolute. His grandfather could not understand this grammatical rule, ablative absolute. Stupid means brainless, believe mean to accept as true, lot mean group, roars mean shout or wail. Let us discuss further sentences. A great joke, this growing old but a sad joke too, in a way. Because Mr. Chips was in his old age, so that was of, in a sense, of funny, but that was sad because Mr. Chips was in his old age. Joke mean funny story or coming story or coming thing. Growing old mean becoming old, in a way means to a certain extent, because Mr. Chips was becoming old man. That was a sad joke, that was a sad situation for Mr. Chips. And as Chips sat by his fire with autumn gales rattling the windows. Autumn means the season of fall. It is one of the four seasons. It marks the transition or change from summer to winter. Gale means strong wind or windstorm or gust or storm. So, it means when there were actually winds, there was windstorm, and that rattled the windows. In the season of fall, in the season of autumn, what happens then? The waves of humor and sadness swept over him very often until tears fell. Then there was a current, an impulse of humor or joy, but at the same time Mr. Chips was sad, and the feelings of sadness and joy that came over in his mind, and this happened very often, and then he began to actually weep. Mr. Chips began to weep, and people could see the tears that were falling from his eyes. So that when Mrs. Wicket came in with his cup of tea, she did not know whether he had been laughing or crying. And when Mrs. Wicket, when she entered the room of Mr. Chips with a cup of tea, because she wanted to give him a cup of tea, she was unaware, she could not understand if Mr. Chips was laughing or expressing amusement or he was weeping. That was a very strange situation, very strange condition for Mr. Chips in his old age, and neither did Chips himself. And he was in such a condition in his old age that he could not understand if he were weeping if he were laughing. Very strange joke, very strange situation was for Mr. Shapes in his old age. Revision of difficult words. Autumn. Autumn means fall in North American English, is one of the 4 temperate or mild seasons. Autumn marks the transition or change from summer to winter in September, North Hemisphere, or March, Southern Hemisphere, when the duration of the daylight becomes noticeably or clearly shorter and the temperature cools considerably or greatly. Gale means strong wind, rattling means clatter, waves mean current, humor means the funny side, swept over means suddenly affect someone very strongly. Thank you very much.